Hey guys, welcome back to Nate's SuperCoach for 2022. Today's episode, we're talking about the 5 mistakes that I've made that I highly suggest you don't make if you want to rise up the ranks and dominate your leagues this year in SuperCoach. Let's get started. Okay, so let's have a look at the 5 things that I suggest you avoid this SuperCoach season. Now, the reason why I've got these 5 mistakes is because I've made all of them, okay? I've made all of them, and I highly suggest that you don't make them either. They'll severely hamper your ability to get a good SuperCoach score. You won't rise the ranks, and you won't dominate your head-to-head leagues. So the first thing to avoid is picking more than 4 players from the same team. Okay, so when I first started playing SuperCoach, I was young, naive, didn't know anything about the rules, and a work colleague of mine said, you should start a SuperCoach team. And I was like, okay, sure. So I downloaded the app and chose a team. And the next day I came into work and I showed him, I was all enthusiastic, look at the SuperCoach team I've made. And he almost fell off his chair laughing. And and looking back, I don't blame him, because I had 4 Essendon players in the team. Not just that, but I had 4 Essendon players in the back line. Now, fair to say I've never really lived this one down, and I'm often reminded of how far I've come from when I first started playing. Thanks, Snowman. But it does stand to reason that you don't want to do this. So every AFL game has a limited amount of SuperCoach points that are allocated by champion data. Recent count, it was around 3,000, but this fluctuates from year to year. So essentially, if you're choosing more than 4 players in the same team, they steal points off each other, and the more risk that you're taking on. So here's an example. A few years ago, I had Jack McRae, Caleb Daniel, Josh Dunkley in my SuperCoach team. And then a few weeks in, Marcus Bontempelli was on fire. He started the season really, really well. He was the 1st or 2nd ranked midfielder at that time, and everybody was jumping on him. Now, I could have jumped on him as well, but I felt that it was going to be too many Bulldogs players, especially in the Bulldogs midfield. So if I had added in Bontempelli, that's adding another spanner in the works, because his scoring would also therefore affect the other 3's scoring, and I didn't want to bring that much risk into my team. So to get around this, I highly suggest having a maximum of 3 players from the same team, and if possible, separating these players onto the different lines of the SuperCoach field. Okay, the second thing to avoid is choosing key position forwards. Now this one's a little bit controversial, so I would avoid picking up key position forwards for your SuperCoach team. Look, let's put it bluntly. Players like Buddy Franklin, Jack Riewoldt, Tom Lynch, Max and Ben King, they're there for a role, and that's to kick goals. Okay, they put bums on seats because they kick goals. They're goal kickers. Their role is very, very limited. So that's of course not to say if Jack Riewoldt kicks 6 goals, for example, he's not going to score well. He is. How many times does he kick 6 goals a game consistently week in and week out? It's not a lot. If they have a very good defender from the opposition on them, and which keeps them goalless, then their scoring is going to be reduced. This, of course, has a negative effect on our SuperCoach teams. We've picked these guys because we think they're going to score well, but they're quite inconsistent. So the way to get around this in the forward line is to choose players that in their team often have a dual role. For example, Isaac Heaney at Sydney. He often has midfield time as well as a little bit of time forward. He can kick a goal or 2 and averages around 20 disposals a game. So the third thing to avoid is burning trades. So we're given 30 trades at the start of each season. Now, doing some quick maths, if we were to use the allocated 2 trades per round, every round from round 1, we'd be out of trades by round 15. And this is of course not factoring in the bye rounds when we get the extra allocation of 3 per round to help us cover any players that are on their bye or any injured players. So put simply, you need to hold on to your trades as long as you can and hold on to them because they are extremely powerful in your SuperCoach team. So there's nothing worse than getting to round 18 or even earlier and discovering I have no trades. Been there, done that. It's not pretty. So we want to conserve our trades as much as possible, okay? Don't burn your trades. So obviously injuries happen. So it's much more beneficial if you have players that you can simply trade to. And to be able to facilitate that, you need to have the trades available. Again, with COVID, who knows what's going to happen, but my strong advice, don't burn your trades. Don't burn your trades, hold on to them. Okay, so the 4th thing I would suggest you avoid is using your heart when playing SuperCoach. Now, there is space for you to use your heart and your gut feel to work out whether you think a player is going to have a breakout year. But to me, SuperCoach is 95% above the shoulders. It's a very analytical game. And of course, you don't want to hold allegiance to your favourite football players or your football team simply because you support them. That would not be making a very good Supercoach decision. For example, I'm a diehard Essendon supporter, and if I followed this method, I would never pick Collingwood, St Kilda or Hawthorn players. Okay, so if that was the case, then I'd miss out on Jack Steele, I'd miss out on Crisp, Pendlebury, I'd miss out on Tom Mitchell, simply because I didn't want to pick them because I'm born to hate those three teams. And of course, it makes watching St Kilda games a little bit more tolerable. Just joking, but seriously. So the last mistake that I think you should avoid, number 5, is overthinking things. Wait a minute, he just said don't use your heart, use your head. Yeah, I know I said that, but there's a reason for that. The thing with Supercoach is it's equivalent to the stock market. There's numbers flying everywhere, break-evens, averages, projections, money, all sorts of stuff. There's all sorts of stuff flying around. It's very easy to get into that paralysis by analysis mindset. So there's plenty of statistics that you can find on the SuperCoach website or even online that will help you in informing you to make informed, calculated decisions. My best advice is to follow this channel and other channels, watch the football games and make informed decisions yourself. It's a much more productive use of your time to follow a couple of channels, this one of course, and do your own quick research, leave it to about 20, 30 minutes a week, have some fun, make your trades, and just sit back and enjoy the footy. There we go, guys. There's 5 things that I think you should avoid if you want to rise up the ranks and dominate your head-to-head leagues. Please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment box if there's anything you feel I've missed. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.